Welcome. If you've ever wanted to truly understand how the internet works under the hood, you're in exactly the right place. This is Lesson 0 of Networking Mastery, a 60-lesson curriculum designed to take you from plugging in your first cable all the way to thinking like a network engineer. Over 8 carefully structured stages will build the foundation that unlocks careers in network architecture, DevOps, and site reliability engineering. Let's get started. Before we dive in, let's map out what this opening lesson will give you. We'll walk through the full scope of the curriculum and what those 60 lessons actually cover, then look at how the 8 stages stack together to build real network engineer competence. From there, I'll make the case for why networking is the highest leverage specialization you can pick up heading into 2026. And finally, how to study this series effectively, including how to get the most out of the hands-on labs. So let's talk numbers, because this is where motivation gets concrete. A junior network engineer in European markets is looking at 55 to 90,000 euros heading into 2026, and senior network architects routinely clear 120,000. Certifications like CCNA and Network Plus are what push your resume to the top of the pile. And once you own networking, the doors to security, cloud, DevOps, and SRE open right alongside it. So what does that paycheck actually translate to in skills? By the end of these 60 lessons, you'll design a multi-VLAN office network from the ground up, configure OSPF routing between routers, and read Wireshark captures with the same ease you read an email. You'll plan dual-stack IPv4 and IPv6 addressing for an entire enterprise, stand up site-to-site VPN tunnels, and move fluidly between Cisco iOS and Linux's IP command. These aren't classroom exercises. They're the exact deliverables a hiring manager expects on day one. Here's the roadmap that gets you there. 8 stages, 60 lessons, each one building on the last. We start with foundations and switching, then climb into IP, addressing, subnetting, and routing, the core of every network engineer's toolkit. From there, services, wireless and WAN, security, and finally, troubleshooting and career prep. No stage is skippable. Each one is a rung on the ladder from cable to network engineer. By the time you finish this roadmap, here's who you actually become. On the left, the capabilities, diagnosing problems layer by layer, designing subnets at enterprise scale, configuring OSPF and BGP, standing up VLANs, VPNs, SD-WAN, and hardening it all against real threats. On the right, the fluency, Cisco CL, Linux iProot2, Wireshark, vendor docs across Cisco, Arista, and Juniper, cloud primitives like VPCs, and the certification language of network and CCNA. Doing and speaking, that's what makes you network engineer ready. And speaking of certifications, let's get specific about which ones. This curriculum maps directly to 2 industry pillars, CompTIA network at exam code N10-009, where we hit roughly 90% objective coverage, and Cisco's CCNA 200-301, where we cover about 80%. Network Plus gives you the vendor-neutral credibility that government and corporate roles often require, while CCNA goes deeper into switching and routing, the gold standard employers actually look for. Study this series, and you're studying for both. Now, how you move through these 60 lessons is up to you. If you want sustainable, deep retention, take the relaxed track, 1 lesson a day over 60 days. Perfect if you're working or studying alongside this. The standard track doubles up to 2 lessons daily and wraps in 30 days, a balanced pace most learners land on. And if you're hungry to move fast, the sprint track puts you at 3 or more lessons a day and gets you through in just 3 weeks. Intense, but absolutely doable. Whichever pace you pick, these 6 study habits will multiply what you retain. Take notes by hand. The writing itself locks concepts in deeper than reading ever will. Spin up a home lab in Packet Tracer, GNS3, or EVANC, because networking is fundamentally hands-on. If a topic won't click, move on. It often lands 2 or 3 lessons later when the context catches up. Lean on the end-of-lesson cheat sheets as printable reference cards, reinforce visually with the YouTube companion, and crack open real packet captures and Wireshark to build genuine intuition. Speaking of labs, here are your 4 real options. Start with Packet Tracer if you're a beginner. It's free, lightweight, and perfectly aligned with CCNA prep. Graduate to GNS3 when you want real Cisco iOS images, then to Evenge once you're ready for the tool actual network engineers use day to day. And if you want the most authentic experience possible, grab a few used Cisco switches off eBay for 20 to 100 euros. Nothing beats the feel of real cables and blinking lights. And here's where all that practice is heading. By the time you finish stage 8, you'll be designing networks like this one, a multi-VLAN office with users, servers, and guest traffic properly segmented, a core layer 3 switch routing between them, a firewall guarding the edge, and a clean path out to the internet. This isn't theory, it's the kind of topology real businesses run on, and you'll build it from scratch. To get you there, the slides alone aren't enough, so you've got a full companion kit. There's the ebook in PDF and DocX with all 60 lessons in readable book form. There are YouTube walkthroughs for every lesson on the Dargslan channel, a pack of 60 cheat sheets you can literally pin above your desk, and ready-to-open Packet Tracer and GNS3 lab files for every stage. Read, watch, reference, and build. Whichever way you learn best, it's covered. And here's the whole roadmap on a single page, your Lesson 00 cheat sheet. Goal: network engineer ready in 60 lessons across 8 stages from foundations all the way through to career. You're covering roughly 90% of network and 80% of CCNA, aiming at junior salaries of 55 to 90,000 euros and senior packages above 120. Pick your pace, pick your lab tool, and screenshot this slide. It's your North Star for the next 60 lessons. And that brings us to what's next. Lesson 01 dives into the OSI and TCP IP models, not as dry theory to memorize, but as the mental framework every network engineer reaches for when troubleshooting, designing, or just explaining what's happening on the wire. You'll learn when each model actually serves you best. So take a breath, get your notes ready, and I'll see you in Lesson 01.